CEO of IYA PRCB, and he was a former Vice Chancellor of Dev Sanskriti. So, welcome, sir. Please give your kind
Uh,
words to everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Bhavna. Now, before we begin with, we'll begin with a prayer, very small prayer. So all of us should be in attentive mode and in attentive posture, just closing the eyes and listening to me very carefully and imagining, assuming that they are trying to pray Almighty to take care of all those people who are in distress, who are in a situation where people do not know where they are. So, in a calamities that has happened in Wayanad and which is happening around Kedarnath, Badrinath, and in part of Himachal Pradesh, I think we all pray for that. Pray Almighty to give them enough courage and keep them in a positions where they can come out with these calamities. So with folded hand, closed eyes, Om, Om. विश्वानि देव सवितर्दुरितानि परासुव यद्भद्रं तन्न आसुव ॐ शान्ति 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 सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्यनात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति. Open your eyes. My dear sadhaks, yoga lovers, yoga promotional change agents, the teachers, the trainers, and people who are the practitioners of yoga in different parts of the country who have joined today. In fact, this particular topic has been debated time and again, and we keep on listening variety of views on this particular topic. But I would may I request all of you to kindly unmute yourself so that everyone can listen. Yeah. So I would like to begin with by saying, not very much talking about what yoga is, but definitely a better understanding all about what yoga is not. I think this paves the way to find out the opportunities in the field of yogic science. Many of us are quite aware about it, and this is not the right time, and this is not the session where we can keep on talking about yoga, but just touching a particular aspect of yoga that is becoming very important. What we say, that the moment we keep on looking at yoga, few questions we are able to see. These questions are related to self. I remember when I happened to be in Japan, and I could see more than 300 participants appearing in yoga certification program. So I was curious enough to ask them, do you find enough scope in Japan in the field of yogic science? So they kept on listening to me, and then everyone, everyone was surprised to listen to my question. And they said that, what kind of scope you are looking at, Dr. Mishra? I said, since you are going to qualify, some of you must be qualifying in different levels of examination. So what are you going to do with that? And the answer was so simple, and it was quite surprising to me. I didn't expect the answer of this kind. Uh, they said, we have come here to assess ourselves. We are the practitioner. We do not know how well we are practicing, because if at all the way we are practicing is not up to the standard, then definitely it is not going to, give me all kinds of benefit. And we want to take all sorts of benefit from yoga. And that is the reason why we are here. And I didn't believe it. So I kept on asking to many people who were the yoga promoters. And everyone said, Japan, it is craze. It is craze to learn yoga. It is also craze to understand how well they know all about yoga. And if they know all about yoga, and if they qualify at certain level, then they feel that, yes, I have become a practitioner in the field of yoga. So look at the perception of people in different parts. Perception of people. Recently, we conducted a program for Bahrain. And Bahrain also, the participants were looking at. Participants said that people are asking many questions about yoga. So we wish to answer their question. And if at all, we could we could organize it nicely, then possibly we can call people to a particular place and we can answer their question. So the basic idea was answering the questions of different people, those who have started taking interest in the field of yogic science. So friends, why I thought of initiating with this is, the basic thing is our own understanding about yoga. That's the basic understanding. Like we say that the moment we say the body, mind, and soul, it's a it's a it's a uniting factor, and it's a adhesive, and therefore automatically the things comes to our mind. That definitely the scope is there in relation to body. Scope is there in relation to enlightening the mind and soul, and so on. Individual to universe, the uniting the individual with the universe. So at an individual level, it is going to be useful, and at a universal level, we can find it useful. Now, uh, let us try to understand few facts, and these facts are important for all of us to understand. These facts are that more than 195 countries have adopted yoga for variety of purposes. And the fact remains, they have started looking at yoga, they have started practicing yoga without knowing, some of the countries, some of the people, without knowing how it is going to be useful for them. But then they possibly found something into it, and that is the reason why the number is growing. Not only the number is growing, but the intensity of people who are practicing, that is also growing. The variety, and in all, irrespective of, caste, creed, reason, religion, and gender, you will find yoga practitioner in different countries. So worldwide, if you look at, it is not confined to India and to some of the Asian countries, but it has now surpassed the limit, and it is going to the different parts of the world. And that is the reason why we have started promoting. And the fact also remains that we have the root, and wherever there is a root, there is a possibility of growth and development, and there is a possibility of contributing. So we thought of contributing yoga, not to our country only, but giving it to the world. So yoga is virtually in evolution stage, even in India. at the education level, at the training level, at the practicing level, at the quality certification level. We are trying to we are trying to you know ev- trying to evolve ourselves in variety of manner, and we must know that it is beyond yoga is beyond the purview of research. If you look at the saints and sages who have been able to contribute, then you will find that there are many areas which is beyond the purview of any kind of research. So the moment we see the scope and the kind of coverage of the area, we find uh, it is something which which will possibly keep on evolving for the time to come. So, in this particular process, in fact, India has taken lead, and in the colleges, in the universities, and by different schools of yoga, through training, many yoga professionals are coming out, and that is the reason why this question has come up. Those who are coming out from different stream, where should they go? What should they do? And this is a genuine question. This must be answered. And in order to answer this particular question, in fact, the Ministry of Ayush has taken lead, and they have taken lead in variety of manner. They've also wanted not only to multiply the number of professionals, but they wanted also to ensure that those people who are getting multiplied, they must be of a quality standard. That is one of the very important aspects. So we will see all these things. In this particular presentation, I have tried to put certain things, and the idea is, getting oneself convinced about, and once we are convinced about, and once we are competent enough in the field, I'm sure that you will find enough scope, and you will see to it that people are there. You are in demand by people. You are in demand. And this is what our experience suggests, that those people who have been able to develop themselves in terms of their abilities, competencies, and knowledge, understanding in the field of yoga, they are in demand. So obviously, the question we need to ask ourselves: what's about the competency? What's about making ourselves fit enough and make ourselves visible enough in the in the market in the market force, so that people know us, and on the basis of that we are in demand. I mean, that's the basic question, and this is the fundamental question, and we need to answer this question before we put demand, and before we start looking at the demand part of it. So I would like you to
हाँ,
see this
अपन
in that
पट्टी
particular
पाएंगे ना
perspective,
जो
and
इंस्टा से
the
नहीं
demand
पड़ेगा
not confining to a particular area or particular country, but
कोई नहीं
since, as I told you, that more than 195 countries of the world, they are looking at India, and they are looking at differently. They know pretty well the root of yoga is in India. Therefore, the professionals coming from India are going to be quite useful for them, and that
जितने
is
से
the
बचेगा
reason why they have started looking at India, and therefore the professional who are being produced in our Indian situation, I'm sure they are going to be useful for them. So I'm trying to share a small PPT, and you would possibly like to see this. I'm sure that you must be able to see this. What I was trying to say you, the conceptual understanding of yoga, and the conceptual understanding is the way of right living. If we know that it is providing a kind of direction, then we need to prepare ourselves for giving direction, giving direction for right living, giving direction for harmony, perfection, and many other aspects which have been narrated and very well taken care of. So I was talking about the understanding part of it, and this is the basic understanding which we talk about. Now, if you look at what I was trying to tell you, that individual self and universal self. Individual self and universal self, I was talking primarily because we must understand the opportunities of yoga in order to help people explore and experiment with individual self, and also understand the conceptual aspect of universal self, so that we are able to find opportunity to help making the universal in such a manner, universe in such a manner that individual can combine. I mean, this becomes one of the important aspects. And that is the reason why we keep on talking about it. Now, if you look at the market opportunity, very interesting data is there. In 2023, the yoga market was $37 billion. And now it has grown. It is expected to grow up to $66 billion by 2027. So, you can see how market is growing, not only in India, but in different parts of the world. I can also let you know the zone wise that, in Asia, Africa, Latin America, American continent, where it is growing and how it is growing. But the fact is that it is growing very fast. Now, another thing that you see yoga classes and studios which have been opened in different parts of the world. It has grown 20% from 12 to 17 data we have. After 17, the data is not very uniform, so I cannot give you data, but it is in between 25 to 30%. So 25 to 30% means you can imagine how the yoga classes is growing. In China, you would surprised to know, when I happened to be in China in Beijing, and I asked somebody how many centers are there in China, and I was surprised to know that more than 2,500 centers were located in Beijing itself. Forget about the whole China. Only in Beijing, more than 2,500 centers were located, meaning thereby that now the yoga classes are becoming common, and yoga studios that has been opened, it is becoming common, and it is becoming common in different parts of the country. In China itself, more than 1,700 yoga trainers, where they were from different parts of India, and these yoga trainers were there since last 6 to 10 years, and still people are there, still students are there who have become teachers in different universities in China. So I am giving China's example because I happen to be there, and I could meet people around, I could talk to them, interact with them. So this is one area which can give you some insight that how the market of yoga is growing. Now, if you look at the US participation, Yoga Alliance, for example, they say that now 36 million American practice yoga in 23 from 20 million in 2012. Now, another data in a similar fashion, it says that now at this moment, more than 45 million Americans are practicing yoga. So whatever data we take it, authentic data, suppose data which has been published, in case we are taking that particular data, then let us imagine 36 million, whatever it is talking about, is a sizable number. And in order to cater to the requirement, of this sizable number, obviously you can imagine what kind of professional and how many professionals are required only in US. This is simple an example of US. Now, country wise, suppose you take an example, the situation is not very different. Even if you take example of any European country, any European country, like for example, Italy. From Italy, a lady was coming over here and practicing yoga, learned yoga, and she could get Yoga Masters Award from none other than the Prime Minister of India. Now, see, the people have started showing interest in such a manner. Simply in demography, if you look at, then age group from 18 to 34, more than 43% practitioner you can find in US. Now, this is these facts. We are talking about the facts and figure. These facts are simply indicating that yoga is growing. The scope of yoga is growing. And if we keep on talking about country-wise data, then possibly 2-3 hours we will have to take and just to discuss and deliberate on the country data and try to understand why it is happening, how it is happening, what kind of requirement is emerging. Therefore, one of the emerging requirement fulfillment is through ICCR, and they are sending our yoga trainers to different other countries, and through those yoga ambassadors, in fact, a lot of demand is coming up from other parts of the country as such. Now, if you look at the practitioner as of 23, over 50 million people in India, they say that regularly they practice yoga. There are other areas and other kinds of data, but regular practicing yoga in India itself is more than 50 millions. Now, this is not a small figure. Now, not only this 50 million, if you look at, how it is dispersed. Now, earlier, the industries, the corporate sector, the other organization, they were not touched very deeply. But now almost hardly you will find any corporate sector where yoga has not entered. And they have started practicing, they have started arranging yoga in such a fashion that people should understand the intricacies of yoga and they should start practicing. Software development is gaining ground in India and in Bangalore and other places where the concentration of software you get it. You go to any software industry and you will find it. Now, their concern is different. Their concern is, stress reducing mechanism. Their concern is how to develop their concentration. Their their concern is, meditating, going deep into, and trying to pierce the difficult problems and the task. These have become the concern, and that is the reason why variety of researches have been undertaken in these areas, and new type of trainers are emerging in these areas exclusively to meet the requirement of uh, software industries. So this is another area that is gaining ground. Not only this area, you talk about Tata's, Telcos, Tisco, Agrico, Nelco, or any other company, manufacturing company. You will wonder to know that these company people, like this company, other manufacturing sector people, they have started organizing half an hour yoga programs. Now they are looking for how to go about it, what to do about it. Forgetting about these industries, even the trainers, trainers training program, people who are organizing program for other countries, when the participants are coming. Now here, for example, in Delhi, I regularly visit one of the organizations that is known as National Institute for Entrepreneurship and Small Business Development. More than 5 months, they keep on organizing international program. So in all their programs, yoga is an integral part. They keep on organizing yoga, and they need a specialized kind of trainers, who can come and who can interact with international participants and who can give them a kind of experience based on which international participants carry a meaningful experience with them in their own country. You will happy to know that after going back to their country, the demand was for yoga teachers, yoga trainers. Can you send yoga trainers so that we can start, organizing a specialized kind of program? So, you know, this is another kind of area that is gaining ground. Almost all good training institutions, including IIMs, IITs, all kinds of technical institution, yoga is an integral part, and people have started practicing it. So what I mean to say here, that it is the increase in the number of practitioners in a diverse field in India is one of the very important aspects. Similarly, a national survey was conducted in a family health survey. Approximately 4.4% of Indian adults engaged in yoga regularly, with the participation in urban area. Now you see in Delhi itself, more than 120 yoga studios and yoga centers are located. Now, these are the known centers. Now, people, students, two, three students combined together, forming a group and going for different kind of yoga classes in different areas. This is another set of, another set of opportunities which has emerged in. And this is not only in Delhi, but you will find in almost all the metropolis, and you will find that this is gaining ground. Uh, Now, expansion of yoga centers, as I told you, now Economic Times, a big article had come where they had given the details all about the expansion of yoga centers in different cities and towns. And you will happy to know that these centers are catering to uh, a sizable number of people. Now, franchise growth. Now, different big organizations have started opening, franchises in business today. They had given example of Baba Ramdev's Patanjali opening franchises and providing the services to the general mass of a different kind. So, uh, Ramdev ji is very known as Yoga Guru. He is Rishi Maharshi in the field of yogic science. All we are aware about it, and we are also aware about it in a simplistic form. He has tried to, spread the message of yoga, in a common mass. So now this is becoming common that in the name of Patanjali, different yoga, centers have been opened, and they are gaining ground. Generally, if you look at yoga, you will find three distinct areas where you will find a lot of the scope and opportunities. We call yoga in relation to health, yoga in relation to human consciousness, and yoga in relation to human excellence. These are the three broad categories. Now you can divide in subcategories also, but broad category, if you look at the scope wise and the opportunities wise, then you will happy to know that yoga in relation to health is gaining ground. People have accepted it, not only in India, but other parts of the world also. So, a lot of researches have been conducted in this particular area. Yoga in combination with naturopathy, pranic healing, acupressure, you know, and Ayurveda, Panchkarma, yoga in relation to all this. This has given alternate therapy system, birth of alternate therapy system. And this is becoming so common that people have started going to this center for it for something which possibly like something like cancer, a disorder like cancer. So they have started getting into it. We are quite aware about the fact it doesn't cure cancer completely, but it does arrest the growth of the cancer. The research findings are very clear. Might not be, curing the cancer patient completely, but it does arrest. Number of researches have been conducted, and it says very clearly. So in the health sector, small disorder to very typical difficult disorders have been taken care of, not with the help of yoga. The moment we are talking about yoga, we are aware about it. We are talking about asanas, we are talking about pranayam, we are talking about dhyan, and we are talking about yogic kriya. So these are the aspects, major aspects. Not only the asanas, physical postures, is essential, but also the breathing exercise, the meditation, and yogic kriya, sometime in a different permutation combination. And that is the reason, you will find variety of centers. The centers are coming and possibly, trying to help people. Yoga in human consciousness is the origin in India. And still, we are trying to research on this. Still, we are trying to work on this because we find ourselves in a convenient position the moment we are trying to work in the health sector. But then, the moment you are talking about the human consciousness, arousal of human conscious development, arousal, maintenance, and sustenance of human consciousness, evolving the, the, the human being, taking the human being from one particular point to the ultimate where fulfilling, where we call self fulfillment takes place, people becoming fully functional. These areas, the human consciousness areas, is becoming very important and very significant for all of us. And people have started looking at us. Although, a lot of researches are going on in Germany where with the help of evolving different types of instrument equipment and undertaking a variety of research in the area of human consciousness. uh, in fact, we have now reached to a particular point that there is a possibility of developing, maintaining, and sustaining human consciousness. So uh, what uh, what is the scope? The scope is that in this particular area, we could be a very good researcher. In this particular area, very good centers could be opened. Although we are opening centers in this area, but numbers are very few because lot many other kinds of efforts are needed in this particular area. So human consciousness, evolving human being, taking human being, taking bath through noble uh, noble cause, you know, you know, noble thoughts, bath from noble thoughts. Now, this, coming to that particular point is not becoming so easy. So the human consciousness and human excellence, now the organization, institution, factories, enterprises, they are concerned with few things: how to increase the effectiveness, how to increase the efficiency, how to increase the productivity, how to enhance the performance of people working in the organization. This is the human excellence. Where I am, where I want to move, what is the gap? And in the fulfillment of this gap, is that any possibility of taking help of yogic science and how to go about it? This is human excellence. There is a possibility, friends, where the effectiveness, the efficiency, the productivity, the performance could be enhanced. And number of researches are there in this particular area. And therefore, we can very well talk about the human excellence. And that is what our uh, set of enterprises, variety of enterprises, whether it's a manufacturing, whether it is trading, whether it is service sector, all these sectors are looking forward to us. That can you help us in this particular area, even including making teachers effective and efficient, making teacher more productive, making teacher more functional. You will wonder to know that research have been undertaken in this particular area, and teachers have been made to work differently because of the yogic intervention. So what I am trying to say, that this is a major category. Major category is yoga in relation to health. Health means physical health, mental health, intellectual, spiritual. In all these areas, we are talking about it. If you take the definition of World Health Organization, you could understand the health part of it. And it says that it is not the disease only. There are many other kinds which we need to take into consideration. And the dimension of health, we are quite aware about it. Ankita? Hello? Hello? Sorry, you are able to hear me? Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, it is in this particular health area, health and the food, when we are talking about the yoga, the food is becoming equally important for all of us. So, the training towards that, it's not that we become dietitian, but through yogic, automatically it is that once you are entering into yoga, what kind of food should you take, so that you could be fit enough. Now, this is another area of concern. The physiological effect of yoga, is a well established fact in the field of health. We talk about parasympathetic nervous system. We talk about the immunity. We talk about relaxing muscle, breathing, slowing the breathing part of it, slows the heart rate, slows down the cardiac workload, regulates the bowel movement. These are the major areas in the area of health where we have started working. And why I'm giving this example, people have started opening different specialized centers on the basis of these areas. That is the reason why I'm giving these examples. And you will also see the benefits of yoga in all these areas. Benefits of yoga, whether you you talk about the physical benefit, mental benefit, intellectual benefit, in all these areas. Now, for example, in psychological cases, in the mental cases, it has been found very, very useful. And in a difficult depression, anxiety, all kinds of tension, many other kinds of psychological disorders, these are gaining ground, and yoga is able to help them out in variety of manner. Recently, Dr. Nagendra ji, our honorable, he was the president of Indian Yoga Association. That time, he took up research in the field of cancer, and volumes after volumes he has been able to publish and proved beyond any doubt that in case we are able to take care of yogic science in true perspective, there is a possibility to arrest the growth of cancer. He took lakhs of samples, and it is not 1 lakh, 2 lakh, a sizable number of sample across different parts of the country, and coming out with finding. Similarly, on diabetic, on diabetes, he could take lakhs of samples, more than 2.5 lakhs of sample was collected, and he could come out with findings, and the findings suggest there is a possibility, and we can take care of diabetic movement, and we can arrest it, we can cure it, and all that. This number of researches has been conducted at Patanjali and so on. So benefits, we can find out in a different manner. In a psychological benefit, as I told you, even betterment of relationship, you must be, wondering about it. Relationship management is coming a new area, and this is becoming difficult for all of us because of the fact that we are forgetting the Indian culture. Indian culture is living together, eating together, enjoying together. And the best part of Indian culture is respecting, each one of us. Joint family, has broken. Nuclear family is taking place. Relationship has broken. And therefore, the loneliness is creeping on because of the mobile. The people have developed friendship intentionally and intense in such an intense manner that they have made mobile as the best friend. So all these have created relationship management crisis. So managing relationship is a problem, and through yoga there is a possibility of managing relationship. So we are talking about that. Lot of researches, evidences are there, friends, where we can talk about many things. Studies uh, have uh, shown all about life-threatening illness such as arthritis, chronic fatigue, diabetes, hypertension, asthma, obesity. This is a common. And through yoga, taking yoga therapy has becoming a profession. And yes, in yoga therapy, since it is a profession, so many people who are scientifically practicing and systematically, planning the whole thing, they are gaining a lot of importance into it. And many places they have been able to set up their, centers, and they are able to take care of, people. So, like, I have given examples of many areas of researches which have been conducted. But I would say that these are these are the these are the dimensions of yoga which is growing, and it is growing to the fact that it has come to a particular point during the COVID, where we started talking about that the immunity system, can be enhanced. And these basics, understanding of these basics, now the moment we are talking about the consciousness in that context, I'm talking about it. The canvas of consciousness is quite big. And in order to understand this canvas, we need to understand the yoga therapy's basis. These are the basis. And that is the reason why I made a mention of this. Hidden layer of yoga, the moment you are talking about, Kundalini, or talking about Nada yoga, these are the hidden layers in body. We are not talking about physical body, astral body, casual body. The moment we are talking about the body, there are three types of body, and the physical body has its own limitation. You move to the astral body, body of thought, that has a little more wider area than the physical body. And the moment you move down to the casual body, that is the body of sentiments, bhavnaon samvednaon ka sarir. Now this has immense scope, and the area is vast enough. That is the reason why we talk about the hidden. And effect of the practices, are enormous. Number of researches have been conducted in this area. So I would say that although uh, we have started this particular area, the human consciousness area, but the human consciousness area is gaining a lot of ground, particularly, lifestyle management, particularly for the lifestyle management, particularly giving direction, new direction to one's life. And in yoga education, we have started, this particular area in yoga education, certificate course, undergraduate certificate, graduate certificate, and postgraduate diploma, postgraduate courses, PhD program. So all these programs you will find in the field of yogic science. As you move forward, your role becomes different, and because of those roles, in fact, you need to find out a different kind of opportunity for yourself. Now what happens for the student community? New areas of interest, and the new areas, new centers that is opening. Centers are opening on how to memorize, how to help a student memorize, how to help a student comprehend, how to help a student retention. So memorization, comprehension, retention, this has become a center where you keep on talking about these areas and keep on helping the students community in these areas. Another center which is coming up, particularly for the student, is the anxiety, whether it's a exam related, whether it is a school related, whether it is related to the results or whatever it is, anxiety, stress and tension because of the examination, because of the career path, because uh, you know not able to uh, not able to be very clear all about their goal. So all that, then fear of failing is a major. As compared to fear of failing, a hope of success is another dimension. So creating a hope of success instead of confining themselves to fear of failing, this is another area. And getting lot of centers are confining themselves in these particular areas. Life management. Life management is a big area, what we call, art of living. Life management, people have started opening center on life management, irrespective of ages, irrespective of caste, creed, region, and religion. Life management, how to manage our life to be effective, to be more productive. So that is another area. Career exploration is yet another area which yoga teachers have started. They are combining the psychological input into it and career exploration. I do not know, after completing my study, where can I go? What will happen to my life? Or I do not know what are the positive, negative aspect in me. I do not know the strength and weaknesses. I do not know which area should I proceed. Aptitude, interest, these area I do not know. This is not the psychological domain only, but this has become a domain of yoga experts as well. They have started exploring the career exploration, what we call it. This is becoming very common, and now there are centers. Centers have been opened by yoga teachers with psychology background people combined together, opening a center and try to help people, exploring the career and trying to give direction. And it has been found working out very well. Uh, Now, the excellence sector, yoga in relation to excellence, is becoming very important. Physical excellence, mental excellence, emotional excellence, social excellence, spiritual excellence, moral excellence, holistic excellence. Now, excellence, holistically, if you like to look at the excellence means, trying to achieve something unique, trying to do the best, whatever best is possible, in trying to do that, even in the sports sector. Now the yoga teachers have been taken in the sports sector in a very difficult terrain of military, where people find it difficult to move. Yoga teachers have been employed because they need to only look at the excellence. If excellence would not have been there, then possibly our soldiers would not have made a post at a height of 18,000 and 20,000 square feet above the sea level. So, Kargil, possibly they would not have won because without the excellence. So even the military setting, yoga is becoming very common in order to achieve the excellence. In the sports sector, in order to achieve the excellence. In a education sector, in order to achieve the excellence. In a competition sector, in order to achieve the excellence. This is becoming very common. So the moment holistically, if you look at, then it's a physical question. It does not only give you all kinds of happiness at the lowest level, meeting your requirement, but it does go to the increases your intelligent questions. It does increase enhances your emotional and ethical question. It does also help you to acquire value question, and finally the spiritual question. So what it happens through yoga, in case you would like to move. in the case of consciousness, then this is possibly a kind of mechanism through we can move it. So, friends, here, uh, as a profession, we have started taking yoga. As a profession, where when you say is a cause and effect relationship, anything becomes profession whenever you find cause and effect relationship. That this, if at all I do this, then I am going to get the result of this kind. So this is a cause and effect relationship. Now, cause and effect relationship brings the acceptability and credibility in your field. And that is the reason why today's, because of this, yoga has been recognized as a profession and people have started taking it as a profession. Anybody, profession need to be practiced. And doctor, medical is a profession precisely because there is a provision of application. If it cannot be applied, then it cannot be a profession. Since yoga can be applied in different area, so yoga is a profession. Now, as a professional, we can emerge ourselves. The career path is very clear. Yoga instructor is there, yoga therapist is there. In therapy, for example, now in yoga, Indian Yoga Association, they have opened a therapy a certification process also, where you could take a master in therapy system, and based on your experience, your expertise, your knowledge, your understanding, you could be certified as a therapist. And on the basis of that, you can start practicing not only in India but in different parts of the world as well. So therapy is coming out in a big manner, and even the uh, uh, national skilling, in the national skilling, therapy as therapy certification is one of the important aspects. Yoga studio is becoming very common. Yoga organizer, retreat organizer, yoga content creator, yoga researcher, academician, as a teacher. These are becoming very common. As a yoga instructor, yoga therapist, I told you, yoga studio operator, in certification in yoga, business insight, experience in the industry, giving experience, and particularly in the industry, it is becoming very common. Entrepreneurial opportunities are very much there. Organizers, yoga organizers are there. Content creators are mainly creating content related to yoga for platform like YouTube, Instagram, blogs. They are creating content, and people require, such competent people who can create a content of this type. So, going little faster because time is up. Now, I would like to talk a little bit about the certification. As I told you, that is a PRCB, personal certification body is there in IYA. And this personal certification body was approved by Quality Council of India. And later on, it has been approved by Ministry of IOS, Government of India. Uh, and they have established yoga certification body. So we are working as a part of yoga certification body as PRCB, and we keep on providing quality certification in the field of yoga protocol instructor, yoga wellness instructor, yoga teachers and evaluator, yoga masters, assistant yoga therapist, and lastly the yoga volunteers. There are 7 levels at which we have started already quality certification. Quality certification is must in the sense to understand your abilities, capabilities, and also assess yourself from the point of view of competency. In case you would like to apply for variety of posts nowadays, the state government has accepted it. The center has issued directive to the colleges, to the universities, to the schools. Also, different other countries, they have started demanding the quality certification. So quality certification, if you have quality certification, it qualifies you. Just like NEET qualification is there, NET is there, so is the case in the field of yogic science. It's the quality certification. And better it is that you get yourself quality certified, through PRCB. There are many PRCB. We are one among them. This IYA PRCB, Indian Yoga Association, has set up its own PRCB, and our yoga master, our chairperson, is Sri Ravi Shankar ji. All all known yoga masters are our advisors, and the Yoga Institute's chief Ma is our yoga president. Ma Hansa Devi is our president. So we have people like Subodhji, who is Director General of Indian Yoga Association. We have representative from all known yoga schools in our governing boards, governing councils, management committee, and all that. So what I would try to say, that this is a body created by masters, and therefore, in order to preserve the dignity and prestige of those masters, we are true to ourselves, and we are truly looking forward the professionals who would like to be true to themselves, and in this process would like to enhance this number in such a manner that they are able to spread yoga in true perspective. So we are looking at standardization, we are looking at recognition, career advancement. The certification process provides the scope in these areas, and therefore we request all the yoga masters and all people who are the promoters in the field of yoga, coming from different states, to involve their students, to involve the people around, for taking quality certification, and becoming yoga professionals. So this is one particular area that is becoming very important. And lastly, in case you would like to see the opportunity, visible opportunities are twofold. One is the wage employment, another is the self-employment. So self-employment is a growing opportunity in India and abroad. Lot many self-employment opportunities, yeah, are visible, and you can see this. As a therapist, as an individual and family trainer, as NGOs, setting up NGOs and conducting variety of training programs, and setting up the wellness centers, health centers. These are some of the areas where people have taken care of, and where people are trying to get into it. And as a wage employment, as a teacher, as a trainer, counselor, experts, researcher, promotional change agents, and so on. In these areas, the wage employment opportunities are there. In opportunities in India and abroad, in both the areas, people are looking at. But people are looking at those people who are not only qualified, but qualitatively who are good. That is the reason why people raises the question. you know we always get many kinds of demand, and we send 10 people, 20 people. Out of them, they select 2 people, 3 people, 1 person. Sometimes they don't select any person. It is because of the quality. Everyone is looking at the quality part of it. So qualitatively, if you are good, besides your academic qualification, it is going to serve the purpose. And in order to be good, I would say, first you be good. You be good means, I'm a yoga professional. Do I practice yoga? Do I adhere to the basic principles of yoga? Do I accept and adopt some of the philosophical aspect of yoga? If I do it, I'm a qualified person, qualitatively and academically both. But if I don't do all these things, and simply on the basis of our qualification, looking at the opportunities, there are people who are able to identify such people. They may not like. So my request at in the last would be to all our people seeking career opportunities in the field of yoga, that be practitioner of yoga in true sense. And in this process, you would be able to prove your worthiness anywhere and everywhere, wherever you go to find out an opportunity. This was the only time given to me. In between, we lost some time, but I'm sorry. Uh, if you have any specific queries, question, there are two ways. One is you can keep on sending your email so that in detail I can reply you on my mail. My mail ID would be given to all of you. Or otherwise you can write it SP Mishra, S all small, SP Mishra 98, SP Mishra 98 at the rate gmail.com, or IYA Secretariat, my ID you must be having. You can write down to them and they would direct me all the questions. I can answer those questions to you. So, with these words, I must thank all the yoga lovers who could join today to listen to me. And I'm sure time to come, we would like to enlarge the scope of this type of session further. And we would like to do something more than this, that you have in a concrete manner, something more can come up in a series of, such session. So thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Bhavna ji, for introducing me. Yeah. Anything specific, if anything is troubling, in that situation, if Bhavna ji permits, then I can answer those questions to you. I do not know, because she is the mentors and monitor at this moment for this particular program.
Thank you
Okay,
so much, sir,
yeah,
for
that's
your
fine.
knowledgeable session.
Thank
Uh,
you.
if everyone want, they can see. It's better we can take the emails and reply later, because if we start taking questions, there are 100 participants. That will take a lot of time.
So I think that's better option you suggested.
Yes.
So thank you. And lastly, we must say Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you so
Thanks
much,
to all
sir.
of you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone, for joining.
So nice.